What's going on, guys? For me, I first had the privilege discussion at Ignite before my freshman year in college. And for me, I quickly realized how important the conversation about privilege was. However, it was obvious that in our activity discussion that we had at Ignite, it didn't come quickly to others. The activity quickly started a debate where it was obvious that students who were very privileged felt that they needed to defend their privilege by saying that they had worked just as hard as anyone. And I think at the end of the day, that's kind of the issue that people are seeing. They are so prideful and they feel like they need to defend themselves, and because once they're challenged, they kind of get defensive. So for me, everyone does work hard in their own way, but it's not until we realize that some other people, not by choice, have had obstacles in their way, which makes it much more difficult. So the students did have a point that they may have, worked hard, but it's obvious that they didn't work as hard as maybe some others have had to in the past. So they were not, difficult challenges as others had to face. So it was during the discussion where I started to understand my privilege and in what I currently do with my first year student athletes. I see how fortunate I was, to be able to attend college without having the superior athletic ability. I have a lot of students that come from rural Alabama and small town Pennsylvania's, and I could go on and on about the student athletes that I have, but without their athletic ability, it would be really difficult for them to even be able to attend college. So it's really fortunate for them that they have that athletic ability and that way to get them to college. So because a lot of them come from really small town areas, so I think for them, they're fortunate that they had that. But seeing that has really opened my eyes to the privilege I had. Everyone comes from a different story. Everyone comes from a different background, which is what I love about working with students and working with first year students, especially because you kind of get to see what their background was, what their experiences were in high school, and some of the struggles that they had. And then hearing their stories, I believe, helps me grow as a person myself. So for me, I was very privileged growing up. My family may have been separated, but I had a lot of support from them. I was given plenty of resources to be successful in high school, in college as well. I never had to stress about how I was going to be able to pay for the next semester or for my books or anything like that. My student loans were taken care of after college, so I never really had the stress of having to pay that off. I know I get that now because now, since I am paying my own way for my master's, it's you kind of get that realization like, wow, this is not as easy as it is. So I kind of definitely see that, and I can imagine how difficult. I could not imagine how difficult it would be to do 4 years of undergrad and not be able to have um, that access so easy, and everything's so difficult, and especially with like books and clickers and all the college essentials that you need. So I never had to stress about money, like I said, and being a white male, I never had to deal with being oppressed by anybody, being looked down upon by anybody, which is just, it's ridiculous in my eyes that anyone would just look at someone and make that judgment about them. So seeing my privilege has given me the chance to see others and the challenges they face. One of the reasons I want to work with first year students is because it comes across as a different story. Like I said, every story is unique. So when it comes to personal multiple identities, I think being exposed to the different backgrounds can ultimately define oneself in their lives, because being exposed to a different bunch of people and having different mindsets put in front of you is important for college students to have those discussions about privilege, background, and making sure those students are exposed to different opinions, and ultimately making impactful conversations happen in our colleges and our universities. So thanks for watching. I hope everyone has a great rest of the semester. We're almost at spring break. Keep fighting. Get through this paper. Good luck, guys.